Hi everybody, welcome to another one of my videos, and I cannot believe that we're sitting down talking about the books that I want to read in October. I cannot believe it's already almost October. Insane how fast this year has went by. Honestly, it's been a rough week. I'm sure everybody by now knows about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and me and my family, we took that pretty hard. I've been watching Charlie's videos for a really long time, and my family took it rough. And so we took the entire week off of social media. We just spent time together. We hung out. We did fun things together as a family. We put the hate aside, because I think in a lot of ways that's what's the most shocking for me. I mean, it's okay to have differences of opinion, and it's okay to have different political views. But the one thing that we should all agree on is that violence isn't the answer. I don't understand all of the celebrating and the hating. Come on. I want people to have safe spaces that they can come in, watch my channel, and know that it's not going to be about anything but books, right? So I had battled with myself on if I was going to say anything or not. But then I decided that I wanted to put out there how deeply saddened I am that Kirk is gone, how deeply saddened I am for his two children who are. With all that being said, let's get back into talking about books. So as you noticed, my lighting's a little bit differently. I did this on purpose, of course. We are talking about Spooktober. That's what I am calling it. It is Spooktober. And these are the books that I'm going to read. Now, I'm doing this one a little bit differently. I didn't want my TBR jar to pick my Spooktober books because I've got all sorts of different varieties of books and not all of them are spooky. I wanted to make sure that I really focused on, spooky type books. Now, originally, I did have a couple Stephen King books in there. However, due to recent circumstances and things like that, took those out and I got rid of them. But I'm not going to support anybody who supports violence, and I'm leaving it at that. So no Stephen King books. However, I think I did get a pretty good amount of dark romance type books, dark fantasy. I have not read any of these books, so hopefully they will meet the genre. Do know that, again, I haven't read any of these books. I'm just going off of the cover. I'm going off of what I read on the back. I'm going off of what some people have mentioned. I'm going to talk about each one of these books, and then I'm going to tell you why I feel like each one of those books would be a perfect book to read for the month of October. So I have 7 books that I know that I want to get through for Spooktober. There is a couple more. I'm not adding those because they're going to be part of a challenge that I'm going to be doing in October. I'm actually pretty excited about it. You guys won't see that one until November. I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun? And I'm hearing noises, sorry. Whoa. That was kind of creepy. Anyways, I have been doing these 24-hour challenges, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do something different? So I have decided that I'm going to try giving one of these 48-hour readathons a try. I'm definitely going to incorporate some of the books I'm going to be talking about today in that 48-hour readathon. So if you're interested on some more of my views on those, be looking for that video in November. Without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first book I'm going to start out with is Escape from Rage by the Fist of Rages series, and this is book 1. And this is by Kisa Murray. Now, I actually met the author that wrote this book. I met her at PopCon, at the PopCon event, and she had a booth there with all of her books. And I went ahead and I got book 1, but she did give me like all sorts of information on where I can go to get her other books and stuff. I got like all this information and stuff, and I was given a little bookmark right here. Have a bookmark that will go with the book. This book is going to be perfect, I think, for the month of October. There was a movie out years ago starring Jennifer Lopez, and it was called Enough. And it was all about this woman who ends up getting married, and her husband ends up being this like abusive, horrible, horrible man. And she ends up managing to escape, get away from him, and she tries to start her life over again in hiding. But like he comes after her, and it's just, yeah. It's a crazy, crazy movie, but it was also really good and something I'm probably going to end up watching again in Spooktober. Let's be honest, I like to watch movies too. And if you guys are interested in what movies I ended up watching in Spooktober, maybe I will tack that on at the end of what books I read in October. If that's something you're interested in, I can do that. In this one, she gets married and her in-laws suddenly they're dead. They got murdered. And come to find out, her husband's the one that did it. And she finds this out when in one of his rages, I'm assuming, he puts her in the hospital. And that's when she decides that if she doesn't get away from this man, she's going to end up like her in-laws. And so with the help of another woman that she meets named Rachel, Olivia manages to escape. She gets away. All these events are going on, things are happening, and then she realizes that even though she's in hiding, she can't stay in hiding forever. If she wants to get her life back, if she wants to take control of her life again, she needs to face this dark, dark man. So she tries to file for divorce. But the minute she files for divorce, it kind of gives away where she's at. He's got all these influences, so it's not hard to find her. So she's trying to survive as he's trying to kill her. And she ends up running into this casino, which is ran by a man named Ian Alistrando. And he owns this big, massive casino. He's got all these securities and things like that. Somehow she ends up there. And I'm assuming that this is going to end up kind of being a love interest between the two of them as they're both trying to survive her psychotic husband who's trying to kill her. So obviously it's got romance in it, but it's going to give some awesome spook vibes because you got this like serial killer, you know, or I mean, not serial killer. I don't necessarily know if who knows, he could be a serial killer. I mean, who knows how many people he's killed. It just sounds like it's going to be suspenseful. I am here for it. Like the way the author described it, it sounded so good. And she even wrote to me a little bit right here. And it says, I hope you fall in love with this series. Getting to meet an actual author of an actual book. This is only the second time that's happened for me. So I was really, really excited. And this might actually be the first book I read in the month of Spooktober to kind of start out this woo thing. So the next book I'm going to read is Phantasma. Okay, first off, just look at the cover, guys. Like, that's giving me Spooktober vibes right there. Okay, just that alone. In this book, you have a girl named Ophelia. So she has a sister, and their mother gets brutally murdered. And after she gets murdered, Ophelia ends up inheriting her family's magic and debt. So in order to save her sister, to get them out of debt, to have money, she ends up signing up to compete in a series of games called Phantasma. It's almost kind of like a haunted mansion, if I'm understanding it correctly. And Ophelia has to compete, and she has to beat each floor in order to finish and win. This is a competition where people very rarely come out alive. So this is supposed to just be full of like mazes and corridors and ballrooms. And then supposedly there is like demonic workers inside the mansion. I don't know if they're ones that are just like, I don't know, supposed to be caring for them, maybe making sure they get fed or something. Again, I don't know. I'm going in totally blind. It sounds really good. And she ends up meeting a guy who is willing to help her get through the mansion. And although she doesn't want to trust him, she doesn't got much choice. Her sister's life is on the line. She needs to put her fears aside and work with this guy. And at the same time, fighting her really dark attraction to him. In Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. Ooh. It's wickedly delightful and addictively delicious. Ooh. And then Phantasma has only 2 rules. Stay alive and don't fall in love. Okay, so this next book, I will admit, I almost didn't pick up because I am someone who's very heavily drawn in by the cover of a book. And if the cover of the book doesn't look appealing to me, then it's just like, you know. However, there has been definitely, just in this year alone, books that I've picked up because the cover was beautiful, but the story didn't really catch me and ended up being kind of disappointing. So literally when it says you can't judge a book by its cover, it is so true. You cannot judge a book by its cover. Book number 3 on my Spooktober list is Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. Just something about this cover just doesn't really call to me, but the book itself sounds really good. Now, listen to just the back of this right here. This just gives me goosebumps. Beware she who bleeds, bound in chains. Beware the exile, the young winged beast who dances unafraid before fire. Beware the woman with many names, the maiden, the whore, the scarlet serpent. Beware the temptress who whispers in the dark. She is the beginning and the end. She is peace and chaos. She is terror knocking at the gates. Ooh. So in this book, you have a girl named Lilith, and she gets estranged from her family and ends up in this specific district where she has basically had to be pretty scrappy in order to stay alive. She's had to basically use her magic to steal for a living, which catches the eye of some pretty powerful people that kind of run the different districts. She thinks that all of her worries are over when she finds this magical knife. But when she goes to get it appraised to the seller ends up dead. So in fear, she runs to the one person that she knows can help her, Zavrev. And I might be saying that wrong, guys. I probably am. So I am so sorry. He's kind of like the ruler of the domain territory that she has been living in and has been stealing in, is attracted to her. They're kind of like drawn to each other, and so he wants to help her. But when he realizes the knife that she carries, he is afraid that not even he can save her. And so they end up on this epic quest trying to figure all of this stuff, and at the same time trying to not fall in love with each other, because if they were to fall in love, it would be destructive to the truth that they are so desperately trying to get to. That's all I know about this book. Again, it sounds really good. I mean, just from reading the back of it, it almost sounds like some kind of a prophecy or something. We're just going to have to read it and find out. I'm here for it, and I think it'd be great for Spooktober. And if nothing else, terror at the gates sounds kind of spooky, right? So who knows? Let's do it. Next, we have Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. And this one sounds perfect for Spooktober, you guys. I mean, come on. I believe the main MMC in this book is Death himself. Okay, what better book to read in Spooktober? You've got this girl, Signa, whose family has repeatedly been dying over and over and over. And so now she ends up with some long estranged members of her family, like far down the tree, I guess. And they have their own series of problems. You've got the dad who lost his wife, and so he hasn't been handling it very well. So he likes to throw these massively wild parties. And then his son is trying really hard to take over the family's reputation, trying to keep them afloat, keep them being somebody and not let them just fall apart. And then you've got his sister, who has some kind of mysterious illness. They've really got some serious work going on. And if that wasn't bad enough, when Signa moves there, she starts getting haunted by the dead wife, and who tells Signa that she was poisoned. So now Signa has to try to uncover what happened to this woman who poisoned her, because the other members of the family that are still alive are in danger, and she wants to try to keep her family safe, keep them from dying the way everybody else in her family has died. And in order to solve this mystery, she tasks herself with working with Death himself. And although he has been the cause of so much pain in her life, I believe this story is about Signa and Death's romance. I'm here for it. Okay, we've got ghosts, we've got death, we've got mystery, suspense, kind of thriller aspects. So this book is going to be perfect for Spooktober, and I've been wanting to read this for a while, but now I'm kind of glad that I saved it for Spooktober, because it's going to be the perfect time to read it. Next, we have Lady of Darkness, and this is by Melissa K. Rorick. It just sounded kind of like something that would be cool to read for Spooktober. It's definitely going to have romance in it. The FMC in this book, her name is Scarlet, and she has two sisters, and they have been working as assassins, and they're very lethal, very destructive, and they have been trained basically torturing people and killing, basically. But a series of events happen. Somehow Scarlet ends up in this place where she is basically trapped and forgotten about, until one day she gets a proposition, a job, basically stating that if she were to do this job for them, then they will allow her to get revenge on someone she has been trying to get revenge on for like the last 10 years. That's the Fae Prince that killed her mother. As all this is going on, suddenly kids start disappearing from the house that she had been staying at. So she goes on this quest to try to find out what's happening to these missing children. And she ends up with all of these allies and friends who try to help her, and a stranger that she has no idea who he is, but he claims that Fae power can be, in fact, used in the mortal world. And he tasks himself to help her uncover these mysteries. And as she goes along, she learns that things aren't quite the way that she was led to believe that they were her whole life. And it's just this whole journey of self-discovery and learning the truth about things that have happened. So this is part of a series. This is book 1, and I am so excited. I've heard so many stories about this. People are everybody's raving about it, saying you need to read this. Spooktober, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, next I'm going to read Mind Games by Nora Roberts, and this is one I'm looking forward to. I have most all of Nora Roberts' books, but I haven't really purchased many books from her in the last few years, mainly because lately she's been doing a lot of things where she takes her old books that she's already written and gives them a new cover. And you guys, I have, again, almost every single one of her books, and I genuinely do not remember the name of every single book. And when you have the same name but a different cover, I'll admit there's a couple times that I have purchased a book and come to find out I already own it. So I took the new copy I bought and donated it to our public library because I like to keep the original versions. And so I get hesitant when I purchase books, and some of them I haven't read for like 20 years. So I don't remember the plot line in a lot of them. So, at some point I'm going to have to pull some of them out and give them a reread because it's been so long. It'll probably feel like a new book again. This one was published in 2024, so I know I do not have this one. Okay, and this one, you have a woman named Thea Fox, and she is a video game designer, and she's become successful enough in her profession that it allows her to move back home in a nice, cozy little cottage just down the road from where her Grammy lives, in the house that she grew up in. And it come to find out, her neighbor, his name's Taylor, he's a lead singer in her favorite teenage band called Code Red, and he was her teenage crush. So what are the odds? I have a feeling some interesting things are going to happen there. But here is where the spooky thriller twist comes in. Her and her Grammy kind of have a secret. They have this ability. They can see into people's minds and into their souls. And apparently, even beyond that, sometimes they can even see the future. To her, it's always been kind of a curse because when she was little, she had this dream and she saw her parents being murdered in a dream, and come to find out it comes to pass. And so with her aid, she is able to basically get this murderer of her parents locked up. But yet, even though she's really far away from him, she is still like, it's almost like this dream, this future dream has kind of connected them in a way. Her essence is almost kind of connected to this serial killer. And she knows this because he's connected to her mind too. And so she can still see these evil acts that this man is doing. And he wants to get revenge on her and wants to find her and kill her. It's definitely going to have some spookiness to it. It's going to have a thriller aspect. It's going to just have some really good stuff. And Tyler, who is her neighbor, I'm not exactly sure how he's going to fit in. Probably the same way most of the MMCs do in Nora Roberts' books. He's going to want to protect her, keep her safe, and do his best to try to just be there for her, and also falling in love with her at the same time. It's just going to be epically beautiful, epically scary, and Nora Roberts knows how to write a thriller romance, you guys, and this is going to be the perfect book to read in Spooktober. And then we have the last book that I have planned to read in the month of Spooktober, and this is another book that I'm looking forward to reading. Everybody is talking about it. It has been on my virtual list to pick up for a while now, and probably since close to the beginning of the year. So I'm finally getting to it, and I'm pretty excited. And if you guys know what book I'm talking about, you'll be excited too. But that is The Book of Azrael, which is book 1 of The Gods and Monsters by Amber V. Nicole. And I am looking forward to reading this one. Again, just look at the cover. My light is wanting to get in the way. But yeah, that is like really cool. And so it's definitely giving some spooky vibes just by the cover alone. Now, I don't know much about this book. I've been very, very, very careful about getting any spoilers on it. So I don't even know the main character's name. I don't even know the FMC's name, and I don't even know who the MMC is going to be. All I know is apparently this is a world that has been living in peace for a while, but suddenly an enemy of this world, of this realm, bound in vengeance, starts building an army to take down this realm, to take down this world. And like temples are being destroyed. Life as they know it is being destroyed. And I'm pretty sure the temples are being ransacked in search of an item long lost. And enemies since the dawn of time must put aside their differences if they have any hope for survival. So my guess is the FMC and the MMC are going to be like long rivals, enemies, whatever, and they're going to have to be forced to come together to save their world, and I am here for it. Evil armies saving the world, one bad guy at a time, one evil monster at a time. It sounds like it's going to be good, and it's going to be perfect for Spooktober. So that ends my books for the month of Spooktober, and I am so excited to read these books. I am looking forward to it a lot. I mean, we're still close to the beginning of September, and I'm still working through all of the books that my husband chose for me, and I will be bringing that video out here really soon. So be looking forward to that, because I tell you, I've got some things to talk about, because I was actually surprised by these books personally myself. I was very apprehensive in the beginning when I was looking at these books and reading their descriptions, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm going to talk all about that. And so you're definitely going to want to tune in on that video, especially if you're like me and you're pretty much set in your genre, the books that you like, and you don't really deviate too much from that. I mean, because that's kind of like what I am, but you should definitely listen when I talk about these books, because they surprised me. It's been kind of a good palate cleanser too. And so I think it's going to make me appreciate my books all the more. So I hope everybody has a fantastic October. It's still blazing hot here in the desert, and it's hard to believe that it's fall. Let me know your guys' spookiest read that you're planning on reading this month. I look forward to hearing about it, and I'll see everybody in my next video. Bye.